Peace be with you. To judge is a sin is an argument one may frequently hear out here in the West when talking about religion and religious obligation. Some people who live their life in disobedience of God, when they are presented with evidence that their behavior does not match what God commanded, are going to frequently retort in that matter and say, well, you accusing me of sin is far worse than me actually sinning. So they will say, if you judge me, you're worse than me. It is simply a form of defense against criticism. So that argument can be misused, and it is a trick of language, and that is what I want to talk about in this video. The word judging or judgment is the same kind of word like terrorism is. It can be simply used to condemn somebody, whether they may or may not be wrong, but it can easily be used to condemn, and that's why people use it. Fact remains that all of us live life through judging. That is how we decide what we're going to do, who we're going to make friends with, all of that. Everything is a judgment call. So we judge 24/7. So somebody accusing you of judging, they might as well accuse you of living. Judging is how we decide not to bring in a drug addict off the streets and give them the keys to our house and full control over our home. A judgment call is also if we bring in a trusted friend or a family member and actually do that for them, let them sleep in our house or give them the keys to our house. All of that is judging. You are judging a person's character. There is good judging and bad judging. So good judging is you look at a person's character and then you make your choices according to that. Like, for example, in the drug addict and a close friend call. Bad judging is making a judgment on broad generalizations of your impressions of a person's ethnicity or race. That is always bad, because you cannot assume things about a person depending on their skin color or depending on their ethnicity. You know, they might be a liar or they might be a truthful person. They might be a drug addict or they might not be a drug addict. So that kind of judging is always bad judging. So superficial judging such as racism, ethnocentrism, even nationalism is always bad, because you have to get to know the person. But character judging is not a bad thing, because we all do that anyways. So when you are informed that your character, your behavior does not coincide with what God commanded, then that is an issue, and you shouldn't respond like that. You should go back to the source and read, am I behaving like God commanded me to behave if I claim to be this person? Because you always have an option not to claim to be a religious person. So be who you are and don't pretend to be something that you're not if you don't want to hear that kind of criticism. The last kind of judgment is self-judgment. We all judge ourselves as well, and unfortunately all of us judge ourselves a lot less harshly than we judge other people. So in all of our eyes, we are much more noble people than we actually are, because we are so quick to forgive ourselves. If we forgave everyone else as quickly as we forgive ourselves, then the world would be a much better place. But because we forgive ourselves so quickly, our opinion of our own character is much higher than it actually is. And that is a bad kind of judging, because it gives rise to self-righteousness. And that is one of the sins that God does not want us to partake in. So it's a slippery slope. In the 31st chapter of the Quran, verse 18, God says, "And do not turn your face away from people in contempt, nor go about in the land exulting overmuch. Surely God does not love any self-conceited boaster." Also in the 12th chapter of the Quran, verse 53, Prophet Joseph, peace be upon him, is quoted as saying, "And I do not excuse myself. Surely the soul is inclined to evil." So I'm not saying I'm a good person. And in the 53rd chapter of the Quran, verse 32, we are told, "Those who keep away from great sins and indecencies accept a passing idea. Surely your Lord is liberal and forgiving. He knows you best when he brings you forth from the earth and when you are embryos in the wombs of your mothers. Therefore do not attribute purity to your souls. He knows him best who is careful of his duty." So it is very easy to forgive ourselves and think of ourselves as pure, even though we know we sin. It is very easy to condemn others and judge them harshly because they sin. It is also very easy to accuse somebody of judging you in order to defend yourself from criticism. All of those things are bad. But to use your intellect and look at a person's character and look if their actions match to what they claim to be, that is a good kind of judgment, and that is what we all should do anyways. So judgment can be good or bad depending on the context you put it in. Peace be with you.